Alright, today we're breaking down asthma using a simple real-life example. And yes, we'll even use a car to help make it crystal clear.
You know, we're all trying to make better choices, right? Whether it's about our health, our money, you name it. Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful way of thinking that helps you look past all the noise and find the right solution every single time. Just think about the last big decision you had to make. I bet it started with a problem that felt really personal. Maybe a nagging health thing, or a commute that was driving you crazy. Whatever it was, it felt urgent and it felt like it was your problem and yours alone. And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. We get so good at putting out all these little fires, just managing the day-to-day frustrations. But we almost never stop and ask, hey, what's actually causing the fire in the first place? Are we just treating the symptoms, or are we actually solving the real problem? So, to really get a handle on this, let's start with something concrete, a common health issue that a lot of us are familiar with, asthma. This is where the difference between a symptom and the real cause becomes super clear. If you have asthma or you know someone who does, these symptoms are all too familiar. That difficulty breathing, the tightness in your chest. That's the obvious immediate pain. An inhaler helps, of course, but it's really just a temporary fix. It treats the symptom, but it does absolutely nothing to stop the next attack from happening. And this is where we hit that core idea, the difference between just dealing with symptoms and tackling the root cause. When you're only focused on those temporary fixes, you get stuck. You're just in this endless cycle of reacting, always playing defense against the symptoms instead of going after the thing that's actually triggering them. This really breaks it down, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the symptoms. That's the obvious pain. And on the other, you have the root cause, the real problem, the trigger that starts that whole chain reaction. If you address the symptom, you get some relief for a little while. But if you address the root cause, that's when you find a lasting solution. Okay, now here is where it gets really interesting. This exact same way of thinking, symptoms versus the root cause, it doesn't just apply to our health. It's actually an incredibly powerful tool for making way better financial decisions too. So let's see how this all connects to something totally different, like buying a car. I know, it might sound like a huge jump from asthma to cars, but trust me, the parallel is surprisingly strong. We're going to look at some findings from the car experts at Edmunds. These folks have basically perfected the art of looking past the shiny paint and fancy features to find what truly makes a car good. They are masters of looking under the hood. And listen, these aren't just random opinions. The team at Edmunds tests hundreds of cars every single year, out on real roads and at their own private test track. Their entire mission is to cut through all the marketing hype and find the root cause of a car's quality or its lack of quality. All right, so let's use this exact same framework to deconstruct what really makes a car the best. We're going to look at a few examples where focusing on the root solution, instead of getting distracted by surface-level stuff, leads to a much better choice. This is a perfect mirror of our health example. For the Hyundai Tucson, the standard gas engine is like a symptom of a weak powertrain. In fact, Edmunds calls it problematically slow. The root solution here is the hybrid engine, which gives you that seamless handoff and solves the core problem of performance and smoothness. See the connection? And it's worth pointing out, Edmunds recommends a lot of Hyundais, and they actually call it out themselves in their reviews. They're like, yes, we see the comments, no, we're not being paid off. That kind of honesty shows you they're focused on the data and the root quality of the car, not just what brand is on the hood. Now let's check out the big SUVs, the Ford Expedition. Well, it isn't perfect, but its core engineering, its root strengths, are so strong that it just dominates its main competitor. We're talking about a powerful engine, real space for adults in all three rows, and massive towing capacity. These are the fundamental reasons you buy a big SUV, and on those core things, the Expedition just delivers. And this is so key, learning to tell the difference between minor symptoms and the real core strengths. Yeah, the Expedition steering is a little slow. That's a minor flaw. But its powerful V6 engine, that's its root strength. Same thing with the Ford Maverick. The interior might feel a bit cheap, but its amazing 40-mile-per-gallon hybrid engine is its core value. It's all about knowing what really matters for what you need. What this table really shows us is that the best choice is all about your specific root need. If you need to tow a house, the F-150 is the answer. If you want something that's a good balance of size and power, you go for the Ranger. But if your main thing is fuel efficiency for driving around the city, the Maverick is the solution. Each truck is a root solution, just for a different problem. Okay, so let's zoom back out. Let's take all these insights and turn them into a practical tool that you can actually use for pretty much any decision.
This is all about building a roadmap so you can apply this root cause mindset to your own life.
The connection is just undeniable, right? Whether we're talking about asthma triggers or car engines, the principle is exactly the same. The smartest choices always happen when we stop just reacting to the stuff on the surface and start digging into what's really going on underneath.
So here it is, a simple 4-step roadmap you can use. First, identify the symptoms. What's the obvious pain point you're trying to solve? Second, look beyond the obvious. Ask yourself, why is this happening? What's the real issue here? Third, find the core engine. What's the fundamental thing driving this whole situation? And finally, step 4, make the root choice. Pick the option that actually solves that core problem, for good.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Think about a big decision you're facing right now, and ask yourself, am I just putting a Band-Aid on a symptom, or am I actually fixing the root cause? The answer to that question? Well, it could change everything.